Hello and welcome to the first episode of Tech Hill. My name is Kevin Small and today we are talking about ray tracing. You maybe have heard this kind of topic quite a bit, that the new consoles will have ray tracing, that the new graphic cards have all ray tracing. Ray tracing, ray tracing, ray tracing, ray tracing. And at some point you are like, what the hell is that? And when you try to look it up, well, you are getting a lot of technical explanations on what exactly ray tracing is, but a lot of people are still sitting in front of their computer, phone, or whatever, and they're like, huh? I fully understand. And that is what I try to change with those videos, to basically put those terms into layman terms so that you can actually understand what this is and also try to showcase it to give you a better understanding about what to expect. So if you are already knee deep into the newest technology, which is also coming to consoles, then you might find those videos, well, rather not revealing anything new to you. But if you are somebody who has only heard about the terms but still doesn't 100% know what the hell that is, you came to the right video. So today I will showcase ray tracing. Or, well, that is not quite correct. I will show you the not existing ray tracing, because video games have been using a lot of tricks to simulate ray tracing. What is ray tracing? Well, to put it in simple terms, ray tracing is the technology to create a real light source in a video game, and this light source is actually producing real light. Or, to put it even simpler, somebody took the sun from our universe and basically put it into the video game, and the sun is doing exactly that, what it should do. It's creating light. Well, and heat, but that's not really what ray tracing does. But it creates light, shadows, reflections, all the stuff you would expect from the light is doing, you don't really get in video games. Like, that is one of the biggest problems. Like, video games have used tons of smoke and mirrors and tricks to make it look like you have actual light in the video game, but in reality it's all fake. It's not real. And that A, costs sometimes a lot of work from developer sides, B, it can cost a lot of resources from your hardware, and C, it's not as perfect as you might see. Like, the moment you look a little bit closer when it comes to the technology, you realize, there's something fishy here. And that is what I want to showcase here. Wait, you're not showing ray tracing in action. I could, but here's the thing. I've showed ray tracing a lot in action in the past. Minecraft, wonderful with ray tracing. Control is another absolutely amazing game when it comes to showcase all of the ray tracing features. The problem is, you know what I got a lot from people who saw all the new ray tracing technology? Oh, it's the same thing as we had before. Wait, I have seen this before. This looks exactly like it did before. Oh yeah, I can do this already with a mod. With my old laptop. Yeah, no, I can do this. And the thing is, it's a bit of like a nostalgia trip for a lot of people. They're looking back at those games and they remember when they see ray tracing that something similar existed in video games. And so they believe, oh yeah, of course, that is the same thing they had before in the game, right? But it isn't. So the point is, a lot of developers have done a really good job in masking the fact that there is no real light behavior in video games, right? But it is still what it is, and it is fake, and ray tracing is changing that. So today we will check out a game which doesn't have ray tracing, but has a lot of features you've been seeing over the past few decades in action, which you can demask very quickly. You can tore this game apart very quickly, and you can showcase the things which are not real. So, without further ado, I will deactivate my camera because I want you to focus on the game and focus on what I'm showing you. And I would say we're jumping directly into the game. And I would say we are jumping into good old Hitman. This is a level of Hitman. And Hitman is actually a game which is very hardware hungry, especially your GPU. Hitman is putting good strain on it. This is running on 2K, so 4040p, and it's not super sampled or anything, and everything else is set on ultra. And when you look around, this game is pretty. Like, this game is just absolutely pretty, and the lighting is also really pretty. Like, you can see the light coming from the chandelier and from the other light sources. You can see like reflections on the door, and it's all like, yeah, this is what I am expected to see. The problem is, this is all fake. Like, this is all fake. Let's have a look at the other rooms we have here, which we will take a closer look at some of the features they are using for lighting. And this one is a pretty dark room, as you can see. Like, there are not a lot of light sources here in the master bedroom, and it's relatively dark. Like, sure, you have some light sources here for the pictures, but the only other light source is, well, this mini bar, and that's about it, right? And then we have the main room, as we have already seen, with like tons of light sources and a chandelier. And then at the end, well, we have the bathroom. We have a few light sources here and there and a huge mirror. Pretty. So, with that said, let's have a look at the fake light. Keep in mind, what ray tracing would do would probably use this chandelier you see right here as the main light source, and then try to reproduce how the light of the chandelier would behave. Now, this game doesn't have ray tracing in any shape or form, so it doesn't do anything. And you can see that immediately when you open up the door. You see this? Like, there is a little bit of light coming into this room, but the light is basically ending under the door. Like, the rest of the light is not getting into the room, and because of that, it's not really changing anything. Like, the room stays as dark as it was before. The only thing which really changes is this part here with the light, like you can see it right here, but nothing else changes, and that is not how light functions. Like, the light from the chandelier, because it is that much light, would just flop this room as well. Not as crazy as the other room for sure, but enough to change shadows, to change the lighting, and to change, well, reflections. Speaking of shadows, you might have noticed this, but Mr. HM47 here doesn't really have a shadow. Because, well, this lighting is a little bit too complex, and a static shadow would make this look really, really bad, so it seems like as if the developers decided that HM47 doesn't have a shadow. And you can just see that here in the room. Now, let's talk about light sources. Now, right now it seems like as if the big chandelier and the smaller lights in this room are actually the light sources for this room and are creating the light and the shadows. Now, not really. And to showcase that, we have to renovate. AKA, we have to destroy this chandelier. Got a little bit darker, so the light definitely disappeared. But thankfully, we have still all those other light sources here, right? So let's see what happens if we shoot them all down. All of that. Every single one. And the last bullet. There we go. Oh, look at that. Huh. Well, that's weird. Nothing really changed lighting-wise. Like, you still have this weird reflection coming in. The lighting really didn't change after we shot down the chandelier because, well, the true light sources for this room are invisible. What a lot of developers are doing is they're going around the rooms and they're installing invisible light sources or light bulbs which you cannot destroy, which you cannot see, and they are basically managing the lighting in an area. And as you can see right here, even by destroying all the lights in this room, nothing really changes, and it's only the candles here, but the lighting should definitely look different than what we have, because it's also night out there, and nothing has really changed. Because again, there is no ray tracing here. If this room would have been calculated with ray tracing, it would be really dark in here. The shadows would have changed, the lighting would have changed, and it didn't. Because ray tracing is not here. Ray tracing doesn't exist. And one of the main important things is really to note how the shadows would have changed. Like, the shadows are barely visible in this room, but now, with all the light sources destroyed, there shouldn't be this kind of shadows. Like, the shadows are static, and they are, well, more or less fake. Now, this brings us to the last point. This room. Oh, I like this room in particular. So, one of the main things ray tracing also can do is not just light and shadows, it can do reflections. As you maybe see in your own room when you are looking around, you have a lot of things which can reflect things. Metal, plastic, stone, wood even. Like, there's a lot of things which can reflect. And most importantly, of course, glass and mirrors. Ah, mirrors. Aren't they beautiful? What if I tell you, and this is a little bit spooky, but what if I tell you this is not a mirror? This is a dimension into another, or this is a portal into another dimension. And the hitman you see on the other side is a copy of you. What? Traitor! No, for real though. This might sound a little bit funny, but this is actually no mirror. What you are seeing here is a fake which have been implemented decades ago. And what happens here in reality is what you see right here is an invisible wall. Then they created the surrounding of the mirror, right? Like the fake mirror-esque look, and make this also look a little bit like glass. And now you might think, oh, yeah, those textures, this is clearly a mirror. This is clearly a mirror. No, it's not. It's just a trick. Like, again, this is an invisible wall, and on the other side of that invisible wall is a copy of the room you are in. Like a perfect copy of the room. And of course your character. So everything you're doing in this room will be copied into the mirrorverse. But how do you spot that? How can you know that this is like not a real mirror or a fake mirror? Well, this is something you will not be able to do anymore in a game where ray tracing exists, but you can still do in this one. So what you can do is you can turn the camera and you can see that this also turns. And you can even turn the camera this far that you can even see behind the toilet. Like you can see into the corner where the toilet is. That is not how a mirror works. If you stand in front of a mirror and you have to try to turn your head, like you are not magically getting more view in your mirror. The mirror can only showcase what it, well, mirrors. And what I'm doing here is not possible. But if you still don't believe it, let me show you something else. Oh no! Oh man! The wall is ruined now. God damn it. If there would just be, I don't know, a magical way to make those bullet holes disappear like a magic mirror. Wait, what? But, wait, what? How, what? Well, see, that's the thing. This is not a magic mirror. This is the capabilities of the fake room. So they created a 100% copy of the room you were in. right? But only to a certain limit, because the moment too much of the stuff you're doing in this room would be copied over into that room on the other side, that basically means they need double the resources. And double the resources can put quite a strain on your hardware, especially when you're playing a console, and they don't really allow that. So this is why there is a limitation on how much there actually is. Like, you can even see it when you're looking at the bathrobes. See the bathrobes? They look kind of cheap. They're not really great, but when you're turning around, you actually have some beautiful detailed bathrobes. Like, they have like the symbol of the hotel, like the emblem, right? And they look kind of pretty. They put like a lot of effort into this. But when you're looking at the bathrobes in the mirror, you realize, wow, there's a lot of detail missing. Ooh. Again, because they have to make sure that this mirror copy is not taking up too much resources, especially because, keep in mind, I'm in a hotel. That means this exact room with the exact mirror, with the exact copy, exists multiple times over multiple levels, which costs even more resources. So they have to limit that. And with ray tracing, well, with ray tracing, you would get a real mirror effect. That means you can only see the things which are there, and they don't have to create like a copy of the room anymore, but they can just let the rays, the light rays, do the job and do the mirror effect. So that is basically what ray tracing can do and what you will see in games. Like, some of the changes might be subtle, and developers sometimes have to choose like which kind of ray tracing technology they want. Like, the more ray tracing technology they're using, the higher the chances that you need more powerful hardware for it. But at the beginning, the changes will be subtle. Most people will probably not notice it because developers did a fantastic job over the years to basically hide the fact that lighting in itself doesn't really exist in games, like the real lighting, and that is what ray tracing will offer to you. A real lighting experience which brings all the features you expect also in real life to happen. And that is something really cool and something really worth, in my opinion, to look forward to. And with that said, we are done with the ray tracing talk, because that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it gave you a better idea of what technology we have basically used before and what ray tracing can bring to the table. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like. And if you're new to the channel, I would appreciate if you might decide to subscribe to the channel and also click on the bell icon so that you are getting informed when the next video is on. The next Tech Hill episode will be live on Tuesday next week. And we have, of course, more channel features coming. We are also streaming from Monday to Friday, starting at 8 a.m. ET, and we are playing a lot of new games in the channel. We just right now do a playthrough of AI, the Somnium Files, here on the channel. Not live, but as a YouTube series or playthrough, let's play series. And we have much more videos coming. This Thursday is another new special video, which I'm calling Stream Red, where we are talking about live streaming especially on YouTube, and what is the difference between Twitch and YouTube exactly. With that said, thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you next time.